lagged out.
No,
I only
it
have
is.
one song. Oh shit, I miss it. Sports. Well, welcome to James as our special guest.
Hello.
Woo! Season 5 Spells Trouble, episode 3? Question mark?
3 sounds right. And you know what else is special about this episode?
What?
First week of the playoffs.
This is true.
James,
And-
are you amped on the first week of playoffs?
Yeah. Our league's resident Cleveland Browns are ready to play and good to go. Excited.
By that suggestion, though, the Cleveland Browns are going to be Super Bowl champs in like 2019.
You know it.
Josh Gordon will play every position except for edge rush or whatever Myles Garrett plays. Is he a defensive tackle? I don't know. I think he's an edge rush.
Defensive end.
Flash Gordon is already the best player on the Browns.
He's so good they cut Kenny Britt.
Well, I think
I
Kenny
guess-
Britt probably needed cut it anyways. Let's be real.
Yeah, that doesn't say too much. At first I read it, though. When I saw the notification, I saw that they cut Kenny, and I immediately thought Kenny Stills, and that shocked me.
Yeah, that would have been a bit of a shocker.
Like, the Dolphins decide they want to not win.
They killed Kenny?
Oh my
Oh my God. Well, for anyone watching live, don't forget you can dial in or text the hotline 480-206-2961. Our hotline operator is kind of stingy, but he does get your messages. Or she. We don't know who it is. It's 2017. Gender's dead.
Thank you, Sam. I am still in the league. I'm here. I'm playing. My record says otherwise, but 2 people lost to me, so
We've got some important James being in the league discussion coming up in our hot topics, so stay tuned. So anyway, let's jump into some fantasy football. Let's remember that, as always, podcast brought to you by Sobe Pure Rush Energy Drinks.
Feel the gecko in your belly. In refreshing Appleberry Burst or Tropical Twist, which is green. You would think the colors would be opposite.
you would think so, wouldn't you?
Else has green tropical flavors. That's why we are sponsored by Sobe. They're unique, like us.
We should go into advertising.
Probably. Let
Yeah.
Sobe know about this. Maybe they'll hire me.
I'll tweet at them with the link to the pod.
All right, we're in. And don't forget, you can do something to win one Sobe product if you do whatever I said to do in the last podcast.
Bonus
If you
reward.
remind me what it
Everyone
is.
says what it was. Also worth one Sobe product.
Yes, thank you very much. Well, that brings us into the first segment of the week, Goats versus Woats. And I'll take a special time to point out here, I did some work so no one else has to. I borrowed the Julian Edelman children's book from a coworker. It was absolutely terrible. It's about a squirrel who is Julian Edelman, who gets taught to play football by a goat named Tom. And then, midway through, the squirrel starts quoting Theodore Herzl because Julian Edelman realized he's Jewish halfway through and decided, wait, I can make money on that.
This is the best story I've ever heard of.
Yeah, it was pretty.
Where the
Pretty
Wild
awful.
Wings are, Julian Edelman, I don't know.
Yeah. So anyway, Goats and Woats.
I'll start with one of my woes. This is going for James because, well, when you
Fair.
score 69, you score 69?
64.5.
Ooh, he didn't
course.
even get
Thank
69.
you.
How sad.
Oh, you hate when that happens.
I
But
know.
it's pretty easy to find something that was fucking terrible that your team did.
Take your pick.
I'm going with Austin Eckler. Starting him. I just don't think that there was any reason to start him outside of desperation. And that's what happened.
That is my home.
Yeah.
Getting like 6 carries a game, just happened to have a touchdown once. Nah, that was
Well, it was also against Jacksonville, if I'm not mistaken, where he had that big game. And
Yeah.
Jacksonville was completely eliminating Melvin Gordon because Melvin Gordon, until the emergence of Keenan Allen, was the Chargers offense. So it showed, I
Yeah.
think, pretty good game planning by the Chargers than to say, wait, we've got this fast little dude, and he's pretty small for running back. But hey, maybe you would have gotten lucky. But it was a pretty bad
Not
move.
lucky enough.
My wote is an ongoing wote. And it's not only the fact that Sam started him last week, but the fact that he still rosters Nick Rose, who averages like 2 points a game as a kicker. You could add any other kicker and improve your team. And it just goes to show how Sam is not even engaged and blindly lucky, which fills me with some amount of rage. So my vote is Sam and Nick Rose.
Sam also somehow has the 4th most points in the league.
I'm
not saying there's a method to the madness, but
it's the surprising Saints rushing offense after Peterson was left. I can't explain it.
I agree.
How many touchdowns does Mark Ingram have? Like 12?
Ridiculous. Great, but ridiculous.
Yeah. James, do you have a vote?
I do. My vote is going to have to go to Phil this week.
Easy.
Yeah. I literally just flipped through his lineup and looked at Mr. Howard racking up a big 3 points last week, and I couldn't go anywhere else. I'm like, yeah, most of my lineup was pretty bad, but 3 points.
I don't know why people keep saying that 49ers are bad as a defense, but they're pretty good against the run. So I don't know what people are thinking there. So fantasy experts out there, get on my level.
Yeah, and I will say the line difference between the two teams, Chicago's O-line is San Francisco's D-line is good. You would think that would factor into a choice. So, Phil, good job.
You had Theo Riddick sitting right there who scored 17.7 points on his bench.
But I would have loved that.
I mean, I have no room to talk about benches. I benched an almost 40-point quarterback last week, so.
Who is it?
Yeah, Alex Smith. Yeah.
He threw 4 TDs and 300 yards or something.
Wait, and who did you start instead?
I started.
I wish it was Deshaun Watson.
It was Kirk Cousins.
That's sort of understandable.
Understandable, at least. It's not egregious.
I went with team record, but it was a bad choice. Anyways.
And the Niners got an even prettier quarterback than Cousins. So Cousins to the Cardinals, I don't know. He'll go somewhere and get a lot of money.
Maybe.
But Jimmy G, much prettier. Not that Cousins is not pretty, but
Jimmy G, hopefully more productive for the Niners as well.
Oh, yes. We're going to draft.
For your sake.
Draft D-line in the first round. Fans revolt because it'll be like 4 years in a row.
That's why they stopped the run, though.
Yeah.
It's true.
All right. Well, who, Sam? Goats, not Sam. Sorry about that. James, I like you much more. Don't worry. James, who's your goat?
My goat is actually going to go to Ted. I thought that over the past couple weeks, Rex Burkhead has been a good pick, but last week absolutely showed that Rex Burkhead was a great pickup. Almost 26 points. And
did you say Ted, though? Because I'm pretty sure Andrew owns Rex Burkhead.
I would also second this because I had picked Andrew starting Rex Burkhead as my goat.
Whoops. The team name threw me. Yes. So, Andrew, congratulations. You got my goat for this week because Rex Burkhead did a great job, and I think he's going to continue to. And the Patriots are unfortunately probably headed for another Super Bowl berth.
I will also give Andrew a props as he would have beat anyone else in the league other than me last week. Rex Burkhead was a good snag and add. And it takes confidence to start any Patriots running back, so that was a good move.
It really does.
It's true.
Remember when jealously was supposed to Glizzly?
All of the above.
Jalalala.
Didn't work out for Phil now, did it?
Not quite.
See, I would give Ethan a goat, but all of your people that you start are just obvious that you plug them in and then move on. Maybe
I don't think
Thomas.
Le'Veon Bell deserves a goat.
Like,
I actually, the reason I chose Julius Thomas is because I dreamt about him, and so I knew I was supposed to start him, and it worked. It was not a sex dream.
I don't question your methods. If it works, it works.
Yeah. And then I later dreamt about Mark Ingram. My GOAT for the week is going to be Sam coming through with his well, I mean, you're going to start AJ Green, but he had a GOAT performance, getting those 2 touchdowns to not just secure him victory, but absolutely crush Tyler's spirits a little bit in that game. I don't think it had any impact whatsoever on any playoff berths because Connor and I still would be on buys, but I think it shook Tyler's confidence a little bit. And if I know anything, fantasy football is a game of will and wits.
There was a slight change in how the playoffs shake down. In that, had I won, I would have gotten the 4 seed, Sam would get the 5 seed, and we would play each other, and the winner of our game plays Ethan. Instead, Sam is the 3 seed, I'm the 6 seed, and the winner of our game plays Connor.
So you actually set yourself up well because Connor's going to be way easier to beat than I am.
Yeah, had I looked into this earlier, I should have just benched my whole team.
Wouldn't have been a bad move.
Yeah. Did Connor win again? Like, what the fuck is going on with that team? How does he?
Yeah, I don't even know how he wins. Luck. Paying refs.
We can't rule that out, but
he won scoring 109 points because he played James.
James, come on, man. Also, I feel like this is a good time. I'm going to take a little intermission here and just say, Murtiza, I know you're probably not actually watching this. I don't even know what you're up to, like mining for Bitcoin, but you must beat Francis. You can be the David that kills Goliath, or you can let me do it. But why not have it be you, so you at least have a useful function in the league this year?
This is the best point I've ever heard.
Yeah, that's all. Tevin Coleman getting a concussion? Come on. He should have got like 40 touchdowns.
Murtiza, step it the fuck up this week.
Speaking of stepping the fuck up, our special guest topic with the one and only James, past champion, guaranteed not champion this year, tight butthole is important. So we can all agree you peaked last year, I think. But what I want to know is, did you peak in life or in fantasy? Has your life gotten better or worse since last year?
Luckily, my life has gotten better. If it was worse than my fantasy team, we'd have some issues.
Okay.
Yeah, life has gotten better. I am well on my way to a teaching career and, moving out of the area that I'm not so jazzed on right now.
Ontario, California.
Oh, fantastic. You can either have a Nissan Altima or a beat-up van. You can drive at 45 in the left lane or 85 weaving between all traffic, and the potholes are larger than your car. Pick all 3, and you have Ontario, California.
Nice.
Help me.
So when you go move to Bakersfield, it's going to be an upgrade.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, also, since we discussed how I make life decisions based off of dreams, I, over the summer, dreamt of James running for city council in Bakersfield. So I guess you're going to have to do that.
Well,
please no.
And in Bakersfield, I think winning fantasy football is as good of a resume as you can have. Like other resume points of like not a drug dealer.
So I will say this. I am probably either next year or the year after going to be entering into a 30-plus-year-old fantasy league. Yeah, it's Chris.
Is that the Penley League?
It is. It is Penley Family Football. They run it a little bit differently, so I think I'll actually do better.
Are you prepared for the amount of shit she's going to talk to you if you don't win?
Yeah. I already get a grade A level amount of shit talking when I tell her how I do in fantasy football every week. She just shakes her head at this point in time. She's like, "You're 2-10?" Like, yeah. No, but it's
and then she's like, "But you're 10-2 in my heart."
Scoring.
Oh.
It's what?
It's not head to head. It's overall points.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it's kind of so first place gets X many points towards championship. But you're playing against each other. You have a set, kind of like we do now. You have a set buying amount throughout the season, but you can always chip in more money, and the entry fee is like $250. So and they're like 30-something teams, so it's like a real money league. It's
That's
gonna
like
be interesting.
40% of a teacher's salary, I believe.
Yeah, I gotta play it pretty careful.
Well, I would say just
the upside
don't
of the
draft how you
$5
draft in this league.
So, huh?
Don't draft how you draft in this league. Just do everything that you would do in this one, and then do the opposite.
Yeah, learn my lesson. Wote of this season was probably drafting Marshawn Lynch in like round 2.
I would say Terrell Pryor was a worse move.
What round did you take Pryor?
3rd.
Yeah.
Is my guess.
Okay, so here's the thing. It was going just fine until injury happened.
I don't know. Terrell Pryor never did anything for the Redskins. I understand.
I learned
Pryor,
some things.
Great athlete. He switched to a new offense, and like he's been playing wide receiver for like what, a year-ish, year and a half. Yeah, it was a really attractive choice. You saved me from myself in drafting him.
Glad I could help.
And so instead, in the 3rd round, I took Todd Gurley.
Players that I have drafted after Marshawn Lynch: Leonard Fournette, Dalvin Cook, Rob Gronkowski.
Todd Gurley.
Todd Gurley did go after.
Michael Thomas.
Oh God.
This probably.
Yeah.
No, but I understand also. I mean, the Raiders were fantastic before, and Latavius Murray had a good season, which was surprising. And Marshawn Lynch seemed like he could be just as good, and they wouldn't really care and just run him into the ground.
Dude, if we're talking about teams that we didn't expect to fail this year, Raiders are in there. Definitely way near the top.
Not that they're failing, but I would have
well, they
expected
just beat
better
the Saints.
production. I would have thought there'd be better production.
That's fair. That's fair. But if there's one
Why
thing
did they never throw to Julio Jones in the red
it's
zone?
not win. Huh?
They never throw to Julio Jones in the red zone.
Hi, Libby. Libby.
So I have one more. My special hot topic question is discussing peaking. And I'm just going to assume that you've never done better than championship night in the bedroom.
Is that directed towards me?
Tyler's never won a championship.
So
I've lost the championship twice, and that's just like a booze-filled half masturbation with tears, and then I drink more.
So I will say this: championship night, good stuff. Since then, no, it's not a peak. Not a peak.
Oh, hey, that's good.
Which is lucky because, again, it goes back to the life topic. If my life was doing worse than my team was, I'd be in a bad place.
Yeah, well, it's glad to know there's hope.
I hope that he was inspired some by our kinkiest NFL players talk on the last podcast.
It's a good one. That's
Have
a good
you
one.
ever incorporated a kicking stand into the bedroom?
So if there's one thing that football taught me about life and sex is you got to get a running start. Good to go.
Okay, my last special guest question is completely unrelated. Do you think Sam could kick a 25-yard field goal within 3 tries?
Within 3 tries. So I am actually taking this question seriously, so if that says anything.
That's what I want.
It's a point to Sam there. Within 3 tries, probably not.
Yeah.
But in his defense, Koo and Nick Novak were having trouble making field goals under 40, and they're professionals, so it's not entirely your fault, Sam.
And I'm not saying Sam could never do it. I think if he had like a day of practice, he would get a couple. But I don't think he's just going to walk on the field and do it. But I'm excited to see when he eventually tries.
I'm not shitting on Sam's athletic ability. I'm shitting on his confidence about his athletic ability. It's totally different.
Well.
So
I think that will move us on to our next segment, best and worst team name changes.
Oh, no, we skipped mine. I have a hot topic.
Oh, sorry, I missed your hot topic.
But I guess James is a big part of this hot topic. And
yes.
Are all of the people in the losers bracket aware that they can all get last place? James, Andrew, Ted, and Phil, regardless of record, you're now in a bracket.
So I'm going to speak for myself and a couple of other people that have less than this many wins. Yeah, I've been aware for a while. Starting off, 0-2? Yeah, it's possible.
I really was directing it at Ted and Andrew. I feel like Ted has shut down a bit this season. He's defeated, but he doesn't realize that he's very vulnerable to having to have a license plate holder that says, I suck at fantasy football for the next 9 months.
And I talk a lot of shit about Phil, but I think he's scrappiest when he's backed into a corner. So if it came down to Ted versus Phil, well, we already know Ted has lost to Phil twice.
Feels like a badger.
Phil is like a badger. Don't give a fuck.
Ted is very aware that he can get last place. For the league chat. Glad he's out. Someone should tell Phil.
I feel like Phil has gone into some sort of winter hibernation. I haven't heard from him in a long time. I'm not worried.
Like Phil, I've got you a wedding present. It's going to be a license plate holder.
Here I thought we were turning towards Dragon Dildo, but that's okay.
One of each? You guys want to pitch
in? Dude, those Dragon Dildos are really expensive, though.
If he ever called that lady back so she could sponsor our podcast, we'd be set.
I bet there's a football-shaped sex toy out there.
This just in, Francis is also watching this podcast. So probably time to move towards new topics where we shit on Francis.
Yes, we got a few of those.
First, we have our team names, and going from the worst team name before to now what I think is the best team name, I'm going to give it to Andrew with Not Interested Ted. Great pun. Love it.
Literally fooled me into thinking that it was Ted's team, so...
Like an octopus.
Nice.
Or something else crafty.
I'm a huge fan of Andrew's puns. That's a great team name. The other one I really like is Phil's. Francis Sarafi spelled wrong. Amazing. The level of disrespect.
Yeah, especially for those
feel it coming off of the team name.
Unaware, but Francis spelled that way is generally a woman's name.
Didn't somebody put that in the group text?
Yeah.
I don't know. Mertiza probably doesn't read that.
Either way,
I'm gonna go. Worst team name, Sam. Just
really?
Sam.
Tyler's fantasy mentor.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy him like talking crap at you, but he's no one's mentor. He's just auto draft in a human.
Yeah, I agree that I like that he's trying to talk, but it's just not good.
Yeah.
Also, I would say in a tie, Ethan's team is my Oksana. Francis, I know you're watching live, so maybe text in. But my theory is this is a reference to Oksana by you in a Blades of Glory thing. But, like, no one would ever make that leap. And what does it mean? I have to rewatch the movie to understand what you're saying about is Oksana the one that got away? The ice dragon? I don't remember.
I wish I could tell you.
I'm worried that it is him implying that he's having sex with me.
Well, I should have put Michelle Wee then. Cute little Asian. That's the one you want. If you've ever Googled either of them.
Oh wait, it's part of. Okay, whoa, Francis, you're getting all mixed up here. The league has no pocket pussy. That's Blue Mountain State. I understand now.
I respect where you're going with that. Yeah, you get docked major points if nobody understands what your team name is. And going from there, I think the best team name for me is probably going to have to be Maine Moose Knuckles.
Well, thank
Everyone,
you.
Ethan just updated his logo. Zoom in. Yeah, a nice little surprise there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to confirm that Francis's is the worst, as per he did not know what reference it was. Regardless of football, Thad, BMS, the league, whatever. Either way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Phil's team name is definitely the best.
since
Phil's team
there
name is
were
pretty
no
good. Thank you, Ted.
there were no bye weeks, and therefore no bye week plays, and no one started an incredibly injured player. I'm impressed. I would have thought that Sam
good.
may have started Jordan Reed again, but he didn't. So good job, bud.
Way to go, Sam, I guess.
I don't honestly know why he's still on your team, but if you're making farther in the playoffs and are bold enough to play him, good on you.
Well, we're going to move to
going farther in the playoffs. It's time to pick 'em.
Let's do it.
Right out of the way, Ethan and Connor both have buys, so they move on.
Pretty chill.
So let's look at a playoff matchup number 1. Francis versus Forever a Pledge Mertiza. As per usual, I refuse to write Francis's name down, so I've picked Mertiza to win this matchup. Despite
I really respect that. I think that is the team. That is the choice I wish I could make because of my emotions. However, just looking at the matchups, I don't think Mertiza really has much of a chance unless there's another crazy Kansas City Oakland game where Tyreek Hill has like 190 yards and 2 touchdowns. It just looks like everything on Francis's team is set up to go better. Like New England and Miami usually get into these crazy games. New England's probably going to score a bunch. Tom Brady's going to throw those touchdowns. Todd Gurley is still the number 1 running back. Keenan Allen's playing crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't even get Todd Gurley and Keenan Allen
in one go. I know.
Wow.
So my pick for that one has to be Francis as well. I'm going to do, first off, heading into end of the season / postseason Brady literally scares me. Keenan Allen against Washington is going to be a lock. That's a great pick. Anderson's been just playing well, and Denver's defense, while good, relies on linebackers and D-line. And I think Kuechly coming back from injury is just going to keep playing better along the line. If I could give some pointers to both of you is, please, for the love of God, change up your defenses. Please. Please. Pittsburgh scored 1 point last week. I don't know why you would ever stick with them. If it is your downfall and you lose by less than 10 points, I told you so.
And Shazier is likely, even though ESPN app listed him as questionable for playing, he's not playing this week.
Wait, does someone have Shazier? Oh, sorry, you mean Steelers?
Just in general, he's a massive contributor to their team as a whole. But also,
this is questionable. Isn't he having?
They may have changed
surgery?
it. Yeah,
he's listed as questionable because they haven't put him on IR, and questionable is lower than. Well, yeah.
That dude's not playing this year and maybe never again. But honestly, I think you should both keep those defenses in just to make it a little more exciting. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, you both keep them. Why not?
Joe Flacco's not elite.
Never has been.
But he still beat the Niners in a Super Bowl.
Oh.
Yes. Well,
I still laugh. It's okay.
All right. So we got 2 for Francis, 1 for Fap himself. Next playoff contenders are Tyler versus Sam, rematch from last week.
Well, I'll go ahead and start this one off.
Okay.
I am 0-2 against Sam, but you know what they say, 3rd time's the charm. So, I don't know. I performed average, I'm projected more, and there's no way I'm going to root against myself. Russell Wilson's going to get picked all day by Jacksonville. Carolina's defense is better than you think. And AJ Green's going to have a quiet day because Chicago plays defense and Andy Dalton's not good.
Okay, so I have a similar conclusion to you. Not to gang up against Sam, but I have some different reasons. I don't think Russell Wilson's going to get picked because he's going on a hot streak. Ajayi just does not have the role in Philadelphia that they quite imagined.
He's slow
that
as
a lot
fuck.
of people quite imagined. Yeah, they're going to drop his Madden rating, guys. I do like DeAndre Hopkins. Hunter Henry is solid, but the main reason I think that Tyler is going to kind of walk away with this one, aside from generally good picks, is Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers is ready for the postseason. This is the first time they've done actually well in a couple of years. And again, Washington. I don't have to say anything else.
Washington.
So I actually had chosen Sam, but after more thinking, I'm changing my pick to Tyler.
I love it.
And the reason being, I think Sam's team, so DeAndre Hopkins is probably going to do very well against San Francisco and the absolutely banged up secondary. However, I don't necessarily think it's going to be enough to secure him the win. So it's basically Sam's team is going to be Russell Wilson, Hopkins, and Martinez trying to beat all of Tyler's team. And I think in the end, it's gonna not quite tip the scale. And you can't really predict if Adam Thielen or Stephon Diggs is going to be the one catching those passes, or even Kyle Rudolph. So I'm giving the edge here to Tyler. And besides, Josh Gordon, in an interview, said that, Josh Gordon had 11 targets and 4 catches, and he said that is not good enough for him. And so he's going to go probably like having 110% catch rate this week.
Josh Gordon's about to have 13 targets and 11 catches on those 13 targets for 210 yards and a touchdown.
Kaiser just needs to get it near him.
So let me say this. Being at the game, that dude is way bigger in person than you would ever anticipate him to be in real life.
Yeah, he's
also
6'4", I think.
Yeah, also
However,
random observation, Phillip Rivers is much taller than most of his linemen, which is, again, not expected. But Gordon was kind of ridiculous. Seeing it at the field level is very different. For those of you that have been to a game live, is very different than seeing it on TV. And the type of production that Gordon is possible of having now that he's back and clean, I think the sky is really the limit, honestly.
Kind of a heartwarming story, too.
Yeah, good for him.
There's an interview with him. I want to say it's on Vice Sports, who has great little features and interviews. But they do one with Josh Gordon talking about getting clean and everything.
Well, his coach had a good quote about saying how he realized, like, addiction's actually a disease. Derrick Henry almost hit 22 miles per hour while running last week. That dude's like 6'4", 240.
That's really fast.
Yeah.
Glad I have him on my team now.
Yeah, you're welcome. Whatever. I got Samaji Perine.
Okay, let me throw this out there. Kristen's dad is like her entire family bets like there's no tomorrow. Her dad like routinely wins money on DraftKings, not just like a little bit of money, but like a decent amount of money. Thanksgiving Day, he started Samaje Perine in one of his lineups, and on a $2 team won $807.
Wow.
Yeah. He also won $10,000 at some point in time from DraftKings last year. Don't really know how that happened. But
did they ever actually pay him?
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like DraftKings, or is it FanDuel? It was Tyler like $50.
Yes. I'm
FanDuel or
DraftKings. DraftKings refused to let me withdraw my money from my account. It's just there. Every time I click withdraw, they say error.
Interesting.
So
I should start betting on.
Also, cheers to you, Ted. Cheers to you, Ted. This is the Lagunitas Willet Bourbon Barrel Aged Stout, coffee stout.
It's really good.
Also, I'm pretty sure Perine
Much
has the
sweeter than
college
expected.
rushing record with like 427 yards in one game. So if he could do that in the NFL for me, that would be chill.
Time for some volume.
I don't think that's going to be NFL for him. He was at Oklahoma, right?
Yes.
That sounds right.
I believe that is right. I've heard that and want to think that that's right.
Well, I just know it was a Big 12 team. That's all I know.
We are talking about some winners right now, but I think it's time to move on to the losers.
Ted versus Andrew.
So the loser bracket.
So the losers, Ted versus Andrew. Still possible to lose the whole thing. I'll lead this one off. I picked Andrew in this one, and this was just I'm feeling his team is better. They put up 140 points last week. Rex Burkhead's apparently a thing.
Like I
Starting
said,
Jameis Winston over Drew Brees, I don't know. We'll see, though. That's 17 points. That's pretty solid. Leaving that on the bench. So if you lose because of that, would not be surprised. Jameis likes to throw interceptions.
yeah, I can't comment on Detroit's defense. I do generally like Winston, but I think that was probably the poorer pick of the two, especially how Breeze is getting ready to roll the Saints into what's probably a fantastic postseason.
Also,
I
I
love
will say, Drew Brees could have easily been 6 points higher. He threw an interception
But he wasn't.
on one of the last plays of the game. Like, thanks, Ethan.
Helpful. No, it's true. I like Alshon Jeffrey in general. Travis Kelce has been going up and really just a solid tight end.
I think he's the tight end number one. If you're going to start anyone in the league right now at tight end, I would start Travis Kelce.
Oh, for sure.
I agree.
Also, Oakland's not that great against the tight end, I'm pretty sure.
No, he's about to have 10 receptions for 120 yards and a touchdown or two.
Yeah. And McCoy's always, I mean, even if he goes up or down throughout the season, he's always a threat. I will say this, per my earlier error, I had initially written down Ted, realized in our chart that Ted was not Ted, it was actually Andrew's team. So good job, Andrew. You have my vote of confidence for this week.
Yeah, I'm also going with Andrew. I agree with everything that's been said. And I also want to add on that Greg Zuerlein basically scores like a wide receiver every week.
Greg the leg, man.
Yeah, he's a tripod.
And Andrew dropped Greg Zuerlein. I bid $2 to pick him up on the waiver wire. Andrew somehow bid $3 to pick him back up for his own team. I'm sad I didn't bid $5 or $6. Not only is he a Ram, so I want to root for him, but no one scores more points at kicker than Greg the fucking leg.
Yeah, that's
True.
Pretty clutch. And also, well, we'll see. Jimmy G could show us that it's the new era for the Niners and scores 40 fantasy points. But he might not.
We need to talk weapons if we're talking Jimmy Garoppolo and the Niners are.
All right.
Well, also,
Ethan.
CJ Beathard was getting sacked like no one else. He took like 17, not that many, but he took a lot of sacks. And I just want
all I
no
can
more
say
injuries.
is while Garoppolo is younger and more mobile than Brady, he also learned from Brady. You got a straight line of about 5 yards if Garoppolo needs to get out of the pocket, and that's about it.
Yeah. And
Ethan, I think we should do shot bet played out on Sunday tomorrow. That's when they play, right? Like, just make sure he's not the Monday night game. Perfect. It's a morning game. Shot bet. Garoppolo over under 23
points?
Hmm.
Like, he throws for 23
Interesting.
points or 23 fantasy points?
fantasy points.
Houston isn't that good. I'll make it interesting, and I'll take that bet.
All right, I got the under.
I assume you want the under.
I do want the under.
All right.
I'm going to come down to 20.
James, you are the witness.
I'm the witness. This is happening. I will make
20.
sure.
Nope, I said I would have. I'm not saying I am.
I didn't even think about negotiating.
Loser, post the video of them doing the shot in the.
I might do a video because I don't have a lot of data.
All
I
right.
mean, a picture, whatever. There will
Okay.
be proof. Also, I'm looking at Ted's team again, and I admire the moxie to start Alfred Morris because it's a confidence play.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a play.
Yeah,
Yeah.
over. Well, anyways.
The loserist matchup we've got going is James versus Phil.
Cooper.
Amari Cooper has a high ankle sprain. He isn't playing.
Gotcha.
Rough.
Yeah, so there's no winners between James and Phil, but I think Phil is going to win.
Okay.
I picked Phil before looking at the score or anything else. Just wrote Phil in the box. And then I looked that Deion Jones, his IDP, scored 26 points. And now I feel really good about my Phil pick.
Yeah, that was a great game for that linebacker. Also, I mean, Jimmy Graham's been doing well. That's about all I can say for his team. But well,
Mike Evans gets Jameis Winston back. At the very least, he just throws it near him.
I probably would have started Mohamed Sanu over Crowell.
If there's any chance someone is calling the hotline, which one again is 480-206-2961. Just say, change your fucking defense. He's starting the Rams defense, and they are playing against Philadelphia, who has the third most yards per game in the league, tied with the Rams for the most points per game in the league, and have the highest score differential in the league. Change that
means
out.
It's a bad choice. It's a bad choice.
Don't start either of their defenses. Both are bad calls.
Bench any defense you have. I need help.
Honestly, yeah, you can bench your defense.
Phil, you are almost better not playing the Rams. That game's going to end 35-28 or something.
It's going to be a shootout. You can bet that Goff's going to be bringing all he has. And in response, Carson Wentz, who still is putting on a possible NFL MVP candidacy for this year, depending on how their season ends. Yeah, that's kind of rough to start. So I picked myself, maybe out of hubris, but
hey, you got Alex Smith against Oakland.
Right. I think that's going to go well. I think that Mixon last week was a bit of a fluke.
Mixon's out, buddy.
No.
Pretty confident that he is.
He has a concussion.
No, but he could clear the... Oh, shit. Great. Okay, I have people I can rotate in. It's fine. So, moving onwards.
Because James did the podcast, Mixon is ruled out with 0 projected points.
Also, though, Alex Smith had his second highest yards of the season.
Just move Tariq Cohen and then you can move anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
So the points projected are about to change dramatically. They're about to go up by about 10, which will actually bring this to a close game.
Anyways, point being, I think there are some... Wow. That was bad. Anyways, I really do think I have a solid shot of winning it this week. No, I'm not going to start Austin Eckler again. I'm considering starting Rod Smith. We'll see.
I don't think you should start
I'm going to crowdsource this. Text into the group message. If you think I should start Rod Smith somewhere in my lineup, phone in now. Please call the 480 hotline and let me know. Let me know who I should start because... Anyways, I think I can win because Phil's team sucks. Bye.
This isn't a phone call. We still have the rest of the podcast to do.
I know.
All right.
That was pretty great. I like confidence.
His team sucking. We're doing our buy or sell segment, which is loosely a hot topic segment. But do you guys buy or sell Phil getting last place? I'm going to sell it. I think Phil finishes higher than last place. I think it's going to Ted or James. Ted's team is in free fall, and he doesn't believe in them. And then, we've seen James scored 64 points last week. Like, it's one of them. I hope they play each other for last place because I know it would hurt both of them more to get it than Phil or Andrew.
All right. So
I will also sell on this.
I love it.
Sell? Nice.
Sell because, like we mentioned earlier,
I'm gonna have to
Phil is a Badger.
Unfortunately.
Also,
you'll hang on.
My other piece of rationale for this is James was just considering starting Rod Smith, and that's a dark place.
I know. I don't want to go through the circumstances that have led me here, but it's bad. Okay. Ted.
You could add either Jets running back.
Yes. I'm sorry?
You could add Bilal Powell or Matt Forte right now.
Yeah, but...
Is there an Eagles running back available? I would start them. The Rams do not defend against the run well.
That's true. All right, Ted,
Wendell
in case it
Smallwood.
winds up to be us, I'm calling this right now. Let's make some sort of big, ridiculous bet to not get last place. We can come up with the details next week. I'm thinking something possibly embarrassing, definitely involving alcohol that we can't handle. Let me know.
Ted, text in what you want this bet to be. We'll make it live on air.
That would be great. Text it in.
Yeah.
If it's not Ted, we'll get there next week. Anyways.
Yeah, we'll move on as long as
Yes, this is one of my favorite ones.
This one Ethan wrote. I'll read it. It's Tyler loses this round, but then goes on to have the highest score in the league every week after.
Bye. It's gonna happen. Even though I think I chose Tyler to win this week, it's still gonna happen.
Look. I'm not gonna buy it as written. I'm going to say if Tyler loses this week, then I completely buy. I think I'm going to win this week. But if I lose this week, then of course I'm going to have the highest score every week after. Of course, that's how it's happening. Flash Gordon and Ezekiel Elliott are both going to put up like 20 points in the championship game.
You also have your very good tight end suspended right now.
Oh, yeah, I get Gronk back. I also... I don't know off the top of my head, so I'm checking right now. But if I look at my team, so I planned this ahead of time. Literally looking at the championship, Jaguars have San Francisco.
Yeah.
They have Houston and then San Francisco, week 15 and 16. I've prepared for this. And if I don't get there, of course, I'm going to score the most points in the league.
We'll see.
Let me. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I've been stacking defenses playing Cleveland, but now that seems a little bit scary.
Yeah.
Josh Gordon.
Right. So first off, he's going to factor into what I'm going to say about Tyler and Tyler's team on this. Second of all, literally, I'm going to say at least half of the teams that have played Cleveland this year after the first couple games. So a good chunk of the teams that have played Cleveland this year have all said, yeah, that was bad. Have all said that Cleveland isn't a bad team. They just can't seal the deal. I think especially with Josh Gordon back, that might change. DeShone Kizer is not a bad quarterback at all. I think he just needs some more experience. And just looking at Tyler's team.
He was put in a bad situation.
Yes,
Kizer was
he's
not
put in a
set up
terrible
to succeed.
situation.
We've seen this before with Jared Goff last year.
Yeah. So here's
not a shitty quarterback, but he was in a horrible situation.
Yes. Seriously, in McVay LA trusts. Really.
Coach of the year.
But I strongly think that most of these people that Tyler has are all people that are going to go the distance for the rest of this year. Gronk is an obvious pick. Literally the people that he could rotate in on the bench are kind of ridiculous. You have Kupp, Doxson. These are just people you can stream on a week-by-week basis. And again, not because Kristen's a Chargers fan, but because a hot Phillip Rivers is one of the most ridiculous quarterbacks in the league. Seriously, having Phillip Rivers there, I think the rest of this year he's a good pick. I think Tyler's going to...
I just want to say there are much hotter quarterbacks out there than Phillip Rivers.
No, it's very true. It's very true. Rivers, Breeze, fourth quarter Russell Wilson. And
I'm talking about their attractiveness, James.
Oh,
Ryan,
where's the ball?
Seen that beard?
Mustache ride.
That's a beard, man. Oh,
keeps his face warm in Tampa.
Let's
oh God, it's so humid and gross. It's just got a sweaty, damp mop.
So this next one is something that I would really like to chime in quite a bit on. Ethan gets punched for yelling "fuck the Pats" during a fantasy playoff moment. Buy or sell?
I'm buying this.
Buy.
Ethan watching playoffs against me as Gronk scores a touchdown in the championship game.
That would happen.
Put the words out my mouth.
Yeah. I actually, I think this could potentially happen at work because I casually said that I think the Patriots are cheaters to the preschool director at my work, who's a maybe 61-year-old woman, and I thought she was going to hit me. So nowhere is safe.
Does everybody want to see Ethan get hit by a 61-year-old woman, though? I think so.
He wears a
I
lot
want
of ring.
to see somebody film it.
Ethan, we got
That's
someone
what
to
I would
slap
like.
you in Vegas that was random. This
I was
sounds
thinking
even
about that
better.
lately. What if she had accidentally killed me? What if I died? I don't know. It could have happened. She was strong. It hurt.
She took her rings off.
Thank God, or else I wouldn't have an eye.
You might be dead.
Dare her?
No, it was Vegas. You know what happens there?
Okay.
Dumb.
But I think adds to the story. She was black, and she slapped the shit out of him. Like,
Yeah.
achieved flight a bit.
She was working through something.
Hey, maybe you helped her.
I think so. She knocked me onto the table
Yeah.
I've seen the video.
somewhere. Well, I think we're all buying on me getting hit for yelling awful things about the Pats. Let's see. James scored 64 last week, but buy or sell, James scores 69 points the rest of the season.
I'd buy that James doesn't score over 69 points.
Oh,
His team is defeated.
my
I
heart.
bet, you know what, I'm going to buy that too. But Alex Smith is going to score over 30, and he still scores under 64 total.
All right, I'm going to break down how many points this team's going to score this week. Joe Mixon,
God.
3. Aaron Jones, also
Joe
3.
Mixon,
Sean Jackson, also 3. Sammy Watkins, 9 on 2 receptions. Evan Ingram, 3. Tariq Cohen, 3. Quan Alexander, 12. The Bengals defense, weirdly, -1 against the Bears without Tariq Cohen scoring. Who's Chris Boswell?
He's a kicker for the
He got
Steelers.
like 14 points last week.
Anyways, you add this all up, I'm coming up to 62 points total.
I think Boswell is the kicker with the most tackles.
Thank
I
you.
don't know if those are worth points.
They are. They're worth 1.5 for a solo tackle.
What?
0.75 for an assisted tackle. We're in an IDP league.
He has a point.
I stand corrected.
If James scores more than 69 points because Chris Boswell tackles someone,
I'm waiting for the second half of the
I
statement.
shot.
Okay. Everybody, drop your people now. Let's make Tyler drink this week and next week.
Yep. It's not collusion if it's 9 versus 1.
That's what collusion
It's not
is.
collusion if it can't be outvoted.
It's not
Exactly.
That's what collusion is. It's literally when there's a group. If it was just one of you, then it's not colluding.
So, buy or sell. Francis fails a law school exam due to fantasy football.
I'm saying that if his team wins this week, I buy. I think that he'll go into finals with way more important things on his mind, which is this fucking league.
Yep.
And if he loses this week, I think that he throws himself at his exams with all the fervor he has to try to ignore the fact that he is a failure at fantasy.
That's true. I think if he loses this week, he'll actually do better at law school. So, Francis, you should probably tank.
I think I should drop all of Francis's players as league commissioner for the sake of his law degree.
Yes, but I think just bench them forcibly because that would be more fair.
You're right. No one else can pick him up. Bench. I will forcibly bench Francis's team unless he can provide proof to me that he's getting over 90s on his law exams.
All right, so I'm going to come in with the opposite take on this. I'm going to say sell on this one. The luck flow in our league has decidedly headed to people that have decided to do other more important things with their life. For example, Tyler has been very close to the top of the echelon every year, but has yet to win. Despite his excellent master's program and his super dope apartment, Tyler has yet to win, failing out to the doctor and to the future lawyer. So whose record was excellent. So I think that it's a sell on Francis. Not because Tyler isn't going to win. That could still happen, I guess. But it's a sell. Francis will do just fine, although I strongly doubt he's going to win the league.
Let us hope so, because I can't take it again.
And I won the league last year after years of a failing record because I chose to change professions and get into teaching. So,
fuck it, I'm going to grad school just so I can win the league.
Right.
I hear that
think it's
UCLA
worth
is
it.
amazing.
Isn't it on fire?
Well, not by the time you get here.
True.
USC's cool.
As I'm sitting here shivering because the heat doesn't reach into my room.
Come to my apartment.
Okay, the next one isn't really a buy or sell, and it's actually something we've addressed before, but I feel like we need to revisit it considering that James is with us.
Now that he's a guest.
Open speculation on what James did to lose his mojo.
Everybody, call the hotline, text into the group message. What on earth did I do to become our Cleveland Browns? Help me.
I feel like there was like a
No.
gypsy woman somewhere.
I want to say James is not our Cleveland Browns.
Oh, no.
The Cleveland Browns have never won a championship. James is the Giants.
Fuck.
Ooh.
The Giants have won a championship despite the fact that they have a mouth-breathing dummy at quarterback.
And it's always kind of surprising when they win.
Yeah, you're always like, what the fuck? How did this happen? And now you're like, this all makes sense. Like, of course their team's terrible. And all of their wide receivers are injured, as per James. So, James is the Giants. Why is James associated with a mouth-breathing dummy and in wide receivers that are basically corpses? That is the question that we're answering. What did you do this year, man? What did you change? Did you you switched deodorant brands, toothpaste? Which one did you use when you were winning a championship?
Arm & Hammer, both times for toothpaste. Deodorant. Oh, I think Dove across the board. So we're okay.
Interesting.
So follow-up question. I'm also using Dove.
I'm an Old Spice person myself.
Championship bound now. Well, it worked 1 year.
Yeah, but 4 out of 5. Tyler, please don't use Dove anymore.
If I don't win this year, I will be looking for a new deodorant brand.
Okay.
Please submit suggestions in the thread, or reasons that you believe that James is now basically Eli Manning.
Axe body spray.
Hey, I got one. Receding hairline.
Mm.
Look at this.
I think James should go
He looks sleek.
full Howard look.
I've been wanting to shave my head. Maybe it's the mojo change I need.
You need to grow in a beard and shave the head. Just
Opinions?
That's my future.
what do you guys think about James shaving his head and growing in a full beard? I think it's the move. I'll send a picture into the group.
Oh, wait. I just want to share, in case anyone else isn't reading, but Ted has a very good point for what James did to lose his mojo.
This is great.
Drafted Marshawn Lynch first.
And I would like to bring to light Ted's second message, which is something that I thank you, Tyler. This second message
Look at
is
how
something
fuckable that man is.
this is something that I've had happening a lot longer than just this season. So yes, I have had a receding hairline for far longer than just this year. Thank you, Ted, for enlightening my situation to the league.
Because we didn't know. Until said something right now.
This isn't a widow's peak. This is a widow's Mount Everest, everybody.
James, your hair makes me feel more confident about potentially losing my hair in the future, and it's going to be okay.
Guys, as long as it's not gone by the time you're 26, you're fine.
My grandpa went bald at 19, and he still managed to get married and have kids.
I'm 27.
Good for you, Tyler.
So old.
Your father still has hair. It's great.
I'm growing it out for dreads.
Some.
Yeah,
Or
but he's
cornrows.
also like 58,
Ooh.
so, you know, that's...
Do you guys ever watch women's UFC?
No, but it's pretty
No,
intense.
it's scary
from
as
what I've heard.
shit.
Right?
Yeah, well, the only thing that matters for this is anytime they get in fights, since they have long hair, they get cornrows. If I make it to the championship, I will try to get cornrows.
Oh, that just... I want to play Ethan in the championship now, just see the
I attempted
cornrows.
to get cornrows a couple months ago, actually, because there's this salon downtown that does free hair braiding on Friday afternoons. And yeah, I went. It's like a publicity thing for them. And I went and asked them to give me cornrows. And one woman refused. Another woman tried. And she said my hair needs to be a little bit longer, or I need to go to a different hair salon that is more familiar with it.
So you've been growing it out ever since?
Oh, yeah, I haven't cut it since.
I'm going to write a cultural appropriation article for the league if you think it's cornrows. So
that's good, because we're woke. It's almost 2018.
Yeah, I love this. Let's go.
So this is another open speculation bullet point, but I guess I don't know who wrote this one, but why Francis bothers changing his lineup week to week. It was funny when he didn't know that his quarterback was playing.
Why does he bother changing? He's clearly coasting on luck. He should just set it and forget it week 1 until
there are no
16.
more bye weeks.
Yeah. Like, his managerial decisions have no impact on him winning. It's clearly straight luck. If anything, he should find like some 8-year-old kid and just be like, set my lineup every week.
I'm a little afraid
it's out of his hands.
He would say something about smashing or smushing to the 8-year-old, so let's...
You're right. Francis, don't talk to children.
Well,
here's what I'll do. I will get a 20-sided die, and I will set your lineup for you based on results of the die.
That seems valid.
Nice.
Well,
I wrote that one, and I realized that this was the buy or sell section later.
It's okay. Open speculation. Anything goes.
Buy or sell is very loosely determined. Like, that's
anything
what
goes.
We started it as, but it became much broader.
That's true. We did ask what I did to lose my mojo. It was probably Marshawn Lynch. Thank you, Ted. So I will go ahead and buy on that one. Francis, I do sell. I think you can do well in law school and do well in the league. But I will say that pick some more durable choices, buddy. How about number 8? Over under.
Oh, yeah.
See the positions of his players by name.
So our over under here is 4. That if we were to read Sam the name of his team's roster, he would know 4 more or less of the people whose positions they are. I'm going to take, honestly, without even looking at his roster, I'm going to say under.
I think if you make it 6, it's better.
Well, yeah, but I think he knows that Russell Wilson is a quarterback.
Jay Ajayi, we know because he posted a video.
Well, no, I don't think he knows what position Jay Ajayi is. He just knows he's on his team.
He probably knows AJ Green.
I think AJ Green is one he knows. I think he knows Hunter Henry is a tight end. And after that,
I hope so.
If you go to his bench, over under, Sam knows 2 positions of his bench, not including the Cowboys defense.
Yeah, Sam, if you're listening, what does Christian Kirksey play? Or even when is he on the field?
To be fair, I also don't know the answer to that question, but he's not on my team.
Through process of elimination, you could probably do it.
I'd guess IDP.
Yeah, he's a linebacker, I believe, for Cleveland.
Yeah. What does Mike Wallace do, Sam?
Yeah, I don't think he knows that one. True, I forgot that he's rostering 2 quarterbacks. He probably knows that Ben Roethlisberger is a rapist quarterback.
Yes. When Ben Roethlisberger is not in the women's restroom at bars.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to guess Under. It was less than 6.
Though we'd have to exclude defense/special teams from this since the name gives it away.
It's a little bit too obvious.
What position is the Texans defense?
But could he name a defensive position?
He also has one benched.
Could he name one player that starts on the Cowboys defense and the Texans defense? Sell on both.
Yeah.
Only because J.J. Watt is injured.
Completely agree.
Sam, please text in with one player that starts for the Texans defense and Cowboys defense without looking it up, and I will do a shot.
I'm inspired by this. I'm going to share it to our Facebook group, a Sporkle quiz of can you identify the fantasy star on a colorless photo? So their jerseys are edited out, so you can't tell.
I love
it's a Falcons jersey.
That's going to be kind of rough, actually.
Sure
I mean,
is.
for everybody. I'm not going to lie. Don't get me wrong. I recognize some of these players by face, but that's a tough prospect.
Yeah.
Are they all players?
DeAndre Hopkins has a unique head.
The league.
No.
That might skew results upwards. Not a bad thing in this situation. Okay, number 9 is one that I wrote and then amended because it was more of a joke than anything else.
It was a funny joke if you're a math nerd.
Yeah. So I said initially that Tyler's performance is logarithmic because he's always getting close but never quite getting there. The new question that is to be posed to everybody, but more importantly to the 3 of us, I suppose. Tyler's performance. Will he win it all? Buy or sell?
Sell, because it's going to be me.
I'm buying it. If I win this week, this is my championship.
So
I do think if Tyler wins, he'll be very difficult to beat this week.
True.
This is the make or break it.
Yeah, I feel that oftentimes. So, for example, this year overall in the NFL, I think that whomever wins the NFC is probably going to win overall. I understand that the Patriots are in the AFC, and that's going to be a rough match, but I just have a feeling.
Go Rams.
That one's going to be a rough bet. Tyler, this year, no. Next year, I feel like he's been so close for so long. It's within the next year or 2 at most. I'm going to go sell for now, but in the long-term picture, buy.
Well, if Tyler does win, it means Francis doesn't. So at least we have that.
This is true.
I like that.
Going for you, buddy.
Are dark days. The sunset before 4 here, so it's very dark.
Well,
I didn't write
for
that,
our last,
but it's Goff or Smith.
This week, I'm taking Smith. I think he's going to have another incredible showing against Oakland. I think Carr will also have a big game. I think it's going to be cutthroat, airing it out. I think Goff, the Rams are good, but they're not looking like when they play solid defenses, it's not as magical, obviously. But I think he's really going to struggle against Philadelphia.
I agree. I think it's a solid performance overall by Goff this year, and will continue to be a solid performance. But it will lose steam against better defenses. Smith, I think, is on a hot streak, and he'll probably continue to go up and down. Best quarterback performance of this year, not between those two, but just overall. What do we think?
Best quarterback?
All right. It's weirdly enough, Smith, Patriots.
Yeah, that was clutch.
I don't think
that was a great game.
Like, you watch that and you're like, holy shit, Alex Smith is elite. He's
but
not,
also,
but
I want to just say Russell Wilson, he's leading his team in rushing yards. Like, the Seahawks are only winning because
never count Russell Wilson out. Never.
He's thrown like 15 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, and I think 11 in all other quarters put together. So he's just this late game, decides that he's going to win it somehow and doing it.
Yeah.
I think what he does is he tries to play to the game plan for 3 quarters, then realizes that hasn't worked, and decides to take the fuck over.
Yeah, and
Ugh.
I think Russell Wilson is carrying his team. I don't think the Seahawks are going to win a Super
Russell is
Bowl.
completely carrying the Seahawks. If you look at his receiver core, he can spread it out well, but none of those people are performing truly phenomenal this year. They're talented, especially people like Graham, Lockett. They are talented people.
Aren't they down Richard Sherman now?
Baldwin.
Their
they're down
defense has
Richard Sherman now.
exploded.
So they're not. Yeah, they're
hoping to win like one round of the playoffs, and then that's the end of their
Yeah.
Like that's
Hey, maybe they can eliminate the Rams somehow.
Oh,
Rams could wind up being the wild card. Like if they lose this
Yeah.
week and then lose against, I think they have the Seahawks the next week.
I think it's going to be
Yeah.
the Vikings.
I mean, on the plus side, the
crazy
Rams
win.
get to wind up playing the Niners week 16, 17, but
yeah.
so you get a win going into the playoffs. But
Yeah, well, speaking of the real playoffs, let's talk about the more important fantasy playoffs and finish it off with our playoff projections.
I agree.
Well, James, as our special guest, do you feel ready to go first?
I suppose I do. So what I'm going to go ahead and see happening here, I'll start with the winner's bracket, obviously, because yeah. So of course, Ethan and Connor move forward. In round 2, I am going to have Francis taking on Ethan. I think Ethan is pretty handily going to win that. So Ethan, you're going to the championship.
Woohoo! That's where my heart gets broken.
Yeah, so what I'm looking at here is a team that has kind of been roughed out by personal problems. Tyler, you have drafted some people that are excellently talented and are all happening to come back right about now. So what I see happening is, even though I'm kind of unsure about this week, there's a very good chance you're going forward.
me too.
There's a very good chance you're going forward. If it is you going forward against Connor, that's where the real matchup takes place. But I'm going to play it a little bit safe. I think it's going to be Connor and Ethan in the champs. Saw that. And then I think ultimately this year, just the ridiculous number of points have been scored, Ethan's going to take it home. I think that's what's going to happen. Now, in the winner's consolation bracket, what it's going to boil down to is
winner. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, is Tyler coming away with a pretty handy, topping of that. Moving into the loser's bracket, I'm hoping that I don't get last place, but we will see. Probably what's going to happen is Phil's going to get me this week. Damn your defensive player. Andrew's going to get it. It's going to wind up being me and Ted in the bottom 2. I hope I'm going to take it, but it is likely going to be Ted. Ted, again, will make a nice bet. And then coming out on top of that other matchup is going to be Andrew pretty handily toppling Phil. That's just how I see it.
I'm ready, so I'll run through next.
Okay.
Despite, so I think I'm hoping Murtiza wins this week, and if he wins, Ethan will subsequently beat Murtiza to go to the championship. I will, hopefully, if I can clear this week's hurdle, which is Sam. I beat Sam, beat Connor handily the next week, play Ethan in the championship, as it should be. That's what the championship should be, nothing else. Me versus Ethan. Anybody else being involved is a disgrace. And that's the battle of the century right there. Those are the teams that should be playing each other. Slugging it out. Winner's consolation ladder. Francis, I hope you lose more games. Now the important one, the last place ladder. So there's 2 ladders that matter. There's first place and last place. And the way I see the last place one going down is Phil's going to win to move up a step in the ladder. while Ted's going to lose to go down a step in the ladder. Now, this game, Ted versus James, it's going to happen next week. This is going to decide who gets last place, because I think whoever loses and stays in the bottom rung finishes in the bottom rung. So next week, Ted versus James will probably decide last place. I think it's going to be James.
I think that's fair.
I think it's going to be James as well. I'll start from the bottom and work up. Oh man, James, your team is seriously underperforming. Well, actually, I take it back. Your team is performing up to its own potential. In that it's not a very good team. And I think you're going to lose this week, unfortunately. You're a trooper. And then you're going to play Ted. But Ted will somehow beat you. And you're just going to stay on the bottom, going from first to worst.
Yeah.
And then I love that the app makes you scroll. The app makes you scroll so far to get to the bottom, just to remind the consolidation bracket or consolation bracket that like you're beneath the big boys or girls. No more gender or whatever. Though, who remembers that weird time we had 12 people in the league? That was strange. I think Kelly was a player.
Kelly was in this.
And Tamar's team was awful. That was strange. We don't need to go back to that.
One or two, Nicole was in this, right?
Yeah, Nicole was there.
Yeah, 2 seasons.
Yeah,
but she missed the draft, and then like I never actually saw her. So it's like, was she really?
Yeah, she sent one of my former roommates to draft for her.
Yeah,
Joe knows nothing about football, by the way. So that kind of informed how that season went.
Pretty sure he was a ginger, so I expected him to take Dalton, but he didn't.
That's his own fault.
He doesn't even know that Dalton's a ginger.
Oh, yeah, I guess he wears a helmet. Yeah. But his helmet is orange. You can assume.
I don't even think you know that Dalton's on the Bengals.
Well, as far as the winner bracket, I think that we're going to get me versus Francis. 3rd time's the charm. I'm going to do it. Go to the playoff championship.
Okay.
I think Tyler is going to eke out that win against Sam, and then his team is going to be nigh unstoppable. He'll easily coast by Connor, and Connor's team, being completely lucky, will finally be evident when he scores barely 90 points. And then Tyler and I will play, and I have confidence in myself and my wonderful, wonderful running backs and the very consistent Mr. Larry Fitzgerald and all the charity work he does. If you got fantasy points for making Arizona better, Fitzgerald would be number 1. And as far as who gets 3rd place, like, does it matter?
No.
It's going to be Connor, but it doesn't matter.
So I'm going to close us with just a couple of important facts.
Okay.
Keep in mind for the week. Since 2015, Blake Bortles has 4 times the amount of wins as the Cleveland Browns. 16 versus 4.
Wow.
And more importantly, Blake Bortles in this game this week only needs 2,925 passing yards to set the NFL record for the most in a single season. So
start your D.D. Westbrook.
Tune in. I would start any Jaguars receivers if you believe this is possible.
Maybe not Allen Hurns or Allen Robinson, but
nope.
Yeah, maybe not them. Okay, maybe it won't happen.
Anybody else?
Okay, let's take everyone's craziest projection for next year's NFL season. Just off the top of your head, what's the weirdest thing? What's going to happen? I'll give you a moment to think. Eli Manning is gone from the Giants. Goes to the Broncos.
He's going to be a broadcaster. And it's the worst thing I've ever listened to in my life.
Broncos take Eli Manning, win another Super Bowl using a Manning.
Where's Kirk Cousins going?
Bold.
Kirk Cousins is going to Arizona.
Ooh.
Okay.
Kirk
Cousins is going to Chicago.
In a not so bold pick, the Browns finish with the lowest record in the NFL next year as well.
I believe it.
I got 2. Bold pick number 1. I'm going to go opposite. Browns go above 500 next year.
That is bold.
Mm-hmm.
That is
If you listen to the post-game interviews of almost every quarterback this year, they've said, that was tougher than we expected at some point in time. I think the Browns are finally going to start getting their feet under themselves, especially with DeShone Kizer coming back, who can be, I mean, there's no doubt that he's going to be the starter next year. A decent receiving core. They'll probably keep Josh Gordon around. And hopefully they use the draft to pick up a running back that's not fucking Isaiah Crowell.
Yeah, well, and Duke Johnson seems like he has all the potential to be an incredible player.
If they give him the time, I think Duke Johnson will be just fine.
I'll be honest, they're probably not giving him the time because then he might get hit more. And they know they're going to lose.
Maybe that's it. I don't know.
Ethan.
Yeah.
Way too far in advance. Double shot bet. 49ers over under 500 next year.
Next year, over easily. They're going to be the Rams of the 2018 season.
Someone write this shit down.
I will yet again witness this. This is going in my notes. Okay.
The 49ers will be the Rams of the 2018 season turnaround story of the year.
Yeah, but the Rams got somebody new.
Oh, Ted thinks Eli becomes a Jet.
Whoa. Okay.
Eli being a Jet would be very interesting.
If Eli becomes a Jet, I say the Jets finish over 500.
The Rams got someone new, but the 49ers are basically getting a new roster. So they will also get someone new.
And they have the Shanahan. They've got that young coach thing.
And it takes a little while to learn that on offense.
Yeah, I'm going to go young players, a bunch of young players, a relatively new coach of the program, and low cohesiveness is probably a no for the 49ers on me.
Oh, well, we'll see. Apparently I'm taking 2 shots, maybe.
Woo!
Maybe. It's written down.
Worst things have happened.
A regular Tuesday.
Besides, if they're under 500, I'm going to want to be drinking anyway. So
it's a win-win.
That's fair.
Well,
all right. Well, hopefully you're here in grad school, and we'll just do them together while we learn how to play beer pong.
Right? If I'm in grad school, then I'm guaranteed a championship. Is how I'm hearing this works.
I think that's the logic.
My rough understanding so far.
That's why Francis has been in law school for so many years.
Just figured it out. He could have finished earlier. He's trying to hold out for a championship.
Makes sense.
Graduate, Francis.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for watching. Feel free to call on the hotline 24/7. I'm told that they do diagnose genital warts by picture or FaceTime.
Yes, both.
And as always, if you're feeling a little bit down, need a little pickup of energy, get some good nutrients from Sobe Energy Drinks. Pure Rush, feel the gecko in your belly, and have a happier life.
Later, fam.